Hey there. Today I want to address an issue, or concern I should say, that I've heard from many people trying to lose weight. But when I mention adding resistance training or weight training to their routine, their concern is that it's going to make them bulkier or bigger. And it's somewhat understandable if they've seen pictures of people, especially if they're women. They've seen other women who are in figure competitions or bodybuilding, and they look kind of bulkier to them, or these big muscles, very lean muscles, and it just doesn't appeal to them. That's not really what their goal is. They're trying to lose weight. That may seem like, okay, I don't want to do that, and I just rest assured, those people doing fitness competitions and bodybuilding, they have a very specific routine, and they get bigger on purpose. It didn't come by just showing up at the gym and lifting stuff. Okay, they have a very specific way of lifting and eating that stimulates the muscle to hold more fluid in it and get bigger. So it's not something. It takes a lot of hard work. Okay, and if you're looking to sculpt your body a bit, that some of those routines might be appropriate. If you're looking to get a bigger or a rounder booty, you've got kind of a flat butt and you're trying to bounce that thing up, or round out your shoulders, and some of those techniques would be very useful, and you might want to employ those. But if you're looking to just drop pounds, get leaner without really worrying about muscle shaping or anything like that, then you can do this with a simple circuit training routine, or going to something like a boot camp class where you're going to be moving large muscle groups. Okay, so things like pushes, pulls, squats, lunges, things that are moving all the joints in the leg, like the hip and the knee and the ankle, are all moving at the same time. Your shoulders and arms are all moving together, whether you're pushing overhead or doing like a modified push-up, rowing, pull downs. In classes you might be flipping a tire, swinging a kettlebell, pulling on bands or a TRX strap, some sort of suspension strap, doing floor work, like planks or some kind of crawl, moving ropes around, those kind of full body movements or large muscle groups. Okay, and you're alternating through different muscle groups. You might go from a push to a pull, or do a leg and a lower body, and then a core, and then an upper body, and it just keeps you moving. Very little rest. You're not stopping unless you need to catch your breath. There's really little or no rest between exercises. You might even have an active rest where you do some weight training, and then there's in a class they might give you what's called an active rest, which means you're still moving. You're doing like maybe a light or low intensity cardio while your muscles are recuperating and the lactic acid is dissipating. Okay, but your heart rate's staying up. So this kind of workout's not going to make you bigger. Now, if you're new to resistance training, this is something you're not used to. It's not uncommon for the first maybe 3 to 6 weeks to feel a little bit of fullness. Now, part of that is just there's blood and glycogen going into the muscles, and you're kind of restarting something that hasn't been used, and it's the beginning of you starting to move fuel or store fuel in those muscles. Now, they're not going to get bigger, trust me. Okay, but you're kind of in transition between shifting fuel towards fat cells, and you're moving more of it towards muscle cells. So there's going to be a little transition period. It's also not uncommon, if you're new to it, to store a little extra fluid for those first few weeks, but that will come off. That will, as your body adjusts to the new stress and realize, okay, this is normal, we're not being attacked, I'm not being injured, that fluid will come off. Another way, well, let me say, if you're doing circuit training, now a boot camp class might be a little intense for you, but you're going to get everything there. You're usually going to get resistance training with a lot of cardio impact, because they might include sprints or jump rope or something that really gets the heart rate up throughout the movement. It's probably going to be or throughout the class, excuse me, maybe 45 minutes to maybe an hour class. If you're doing circuit training where you're just kind of moving through, okay, you want a very controlled workout where you're doing cable rows or a TRX row, and then you move to a squat, and then you move to a, and doing like 3 or 4 exercises in a circuit, and then you move on to a new circuit and do 3 or 4 exercises, and this might take you 30 minutes, 20, 30, 40 minutes. It'd be a good idea to follow that with some cardio because you've burned your glycogen down, but you want a chance to get your heart rate up a little more, and burn off some of the, basically you've burned off glycogen. You can finish off that glycogen pretty quickly in your cardio routine and really get into where you're having to rely on fat stores in your fat burning metabolism for the rest of your energy, because you've really, like I said, burned off most of your quick energy or the glycogen in the muscle with your circuit training. So do the circuit training. You can do a warm-up, 5-minute warm-up cardio, but you really want to do the circuit training first, followed by some kind of cardio. If it's steady state, where you're just staying one pace, you want to look at about maybe a 75%, give or take, heart rate maintenance. If you're doing intervals, you're hitting 80 or over 80% of your max heart rate. Both are good. Okay. Ideally, weight-bearing movements are best for weight loss because you're carrying your weight, right? But if you have joint issues, hey, get on a rower, get on a bike, do whatever you have to do, but get moving, okay? And try to find 20 to 30 minutes after your circuit training where you can get your heart rate up and keep that energy moving, okay? Now, with your circuit training or in the class, you want to make sure you're doing something with an intensity level that you're going to be fatiguing in an 8 to 20 rep range. So you should feel some burn or just fatigue, like the muscle just doesn't want to go, right? Anymore, doesn't want to finishes that exercise in the 8 to 20 rep range, because you still want to hold on to that muscle, okay? You want it to be active. As we age, we start to lose muscle. We also start to lose bone, okay? So osteoporosis can be slowed down, prevented, okay, by muscles pulling on bones. That's what creates bone density, is the muscle, the stress of the muscle pulling on the bone through work, okay? Not to mention, as I've discussed before, the insulin sensitivity benefit that you get from weight training or from a resistance training that is in that 8 to 20 range, because you're creating a demand by draining that fuel, okay, and creating fatigue. Picking up the 3-pound weights, okay, and doing something for 40 or 50 times, or if you really could keep going forever, that's really not giving you a whole lot of benefit, especially in a practical sense. In terms of your entire life, you're going to keep losing muscle. If you're doing 3 or 5 pounders and it's not challenging, if you can do 30 or 40 or 50 of these, okay, you're not doing yourself a service, okay? You can pick up a slightly heavier weight, okay? Go for a 15 or 20 rep range. You're going to get the benefit. You're not going to build bulk, especially going in a circuit, okay? Your body just isn't, you're just not telling your body to start storing more fluid in those muscles and get bigger. You are going to firm them up, which is what we all want, right? We all want to be a little harder, a little leaner, but you don't have to get bigger. So please, I know there's probably a few questions out there about what I'm talking about, because if you're unfamiliar with weight training and it seems scary, let me just say it doesn't have to be. Get a couple sessions with a trainer, ideally. Find someone who's gonna, who understands what your goals are and gives you a plan, walks you through it so you feel safe with it, and then just do it. Just start doing it. It'll get easier as you do it. Easier in that you'll become less scared of it, become more familiar, and you'll have a better understanding of how your body moves and works. But please, feel free to ask questions. If you felt this is beneficial, I'd love a like or a share or a comment. Talk to you later.